Hello everybody. I wanted to do an update this evening, kind of show you a few things that we've got going on here. It's been a long spring so far for us, like many others that I've heard from, with the cold, wet springs we've had. We actually had a freeze on the 3rd of May, which obviously set a record here in my neck of the woods. Usually our last freeze date's March the 25th. So that's well past a month over the average frost date. Had green beans up about, I guess 3-4 inches. And obviously the freeze got those. Tomatoes we were able to cover. Some of the peppers we had covered, and everything else pretty much was spared except for the green beans. But got those replanted today. Ironically, we had pulled a can out of the pantry, or a jar out of the pantry the other night, green beans, and realized that last year we were canning green beans on May the 19th. I'm planting them this year on the 7th. Go figure that. But anyways, let me show you a few things we got going on here and kind of update you on our status. Everything seems to be just about a month behind this year. Hopefully the heat won't set in too quick for us, and we'll have an okay spring crop of vegetables and all, and then move into the summer stuff with the corn and black eyes and purple hulls and all that good stuff. Anyways, let's look around. Here on the west side of the garden, don't have anything coming up yet. I've got a couple of rows of black eyes, a couple of rows of purple hulls, and 5 rows of corn, and then I've got some melons and all. Over here I've just got 1 or 2 melons up right now. There's one of the little watermelons that's up there. Got zucchini and squash both up. I was able to cover these pretty easily and spared them from the freeze we had a couple of days ago. Been picking strawberries daily. We've gotten quite a few this year, and really been satisfied with our harvest thus far with those. Haven't had a big problem with insects this year. I assume with the cooler weather they haven't really gotten going yet. Looking down the tomato rows here, I've got 3 rows here, and we've got our first lines tied on the Florida weave we're using this year. This porter tomato here was my big winner this year. It was the first to set fruit. Since then it was followed by the Romas. They started setting. Baby chicks ain't quite much babies anymore. They've grown real good, and I guess right now, if I'm thinking right, they're about 12 weeks. Should be in another 12 weeks or so we should start seeing some eggs from these. There's a small patch here I've got of some caged tomatoes. Here's an area here on the back of the east garden that these self-watering containers on the left and right there. We took all of the onions that I had left over once I planted my onions out. We just kind of stuck them in this pots, and we've been harvesting these for green onions in the evening. The cabbages have all been setting heads really good for me, and I've seen minimal worms, bugs, anything this year. Kind of scares me what it might be like a month or two, but so far hadn't seen anything. I mean, there's hardly any hoes in any of my basilicas, and that's odd in the spring. Now in the fall I don't see hardly any insect damage, but in the spring I usually always see something. The onions are just starting to bulb out for me. With the cool weather, they just running pretty late this year for me. The small experimental back to Eden garden that I've got, it's about a 12-foot by probably 10-foot. I grew lettuce in it just to kind of see how it was going to do, and I haven't been disappointed. Weeds been minimal. It seemed like the lettuce grew just a little bit slow, but the weather's been crazy too. So Kind of gives you an idea of what my onions are doing for me. I've got them in the spot where they're at. It's going to actually be the new greenhouse I'm building. So I'm kind of holding off. I'm waiting for these things to harvest where I can get in here and really start working on this greenhouse. And right now it's just kind of too tight in there trying to work around them onions and all. I've also got some more onions over on the other side of the garden. These are my Cornish rocks here that I've taken out of the pen with the other hens, and I've got them in this temporary enclosure. These guys are fixing to go to a happy place. This is another shot from the east side of the property looking back towards the west of the garden. Kind of gives you a little bit different perspective of what's going on. We've been cutting quite a bit of broccoli as well. It's done good just late this year for me. Here I've got a row of Brussels sprouts. Not sure if these guys are going to make it with this heat starting to set in we're getting. Got a row of cilantro here coming up nicely. I always try to time the cilantro to where my tomatoes are ripening. We can make salsa and whatnot, but a lot of times this stuff will go to seed before them tomatoes are ready. This is where I had 3 rows of green beans here that were up about 4 or 5 inches that just completely was taken out by the cold snap we had. Cut all the collards the other day and got the seed pods off. I'm going to be putting these in some paper bags to store them and let them dry, and then from that point once they're dry we'll be extracting the seed from these pods and saving it for next year. And there's some close-ups of some of the pods. You can kind of see how they're swollen, similar to a green bean, and one pod will be full of 10 or 15 little seeds. Thought it'd be kind of fun to kind of give everybody perspective of my property layout. I'm on the east side of my property now, where the old house was and all that we tore down. And I'm really actually right now standing on the boundary line that used to separate our 2 properties. But I'll kind of just pan over here to the left. Right here I've got my wood pile that I have saved to kind of do projects and all with. And then there along that fence line I've got blackberries and some fruit trees over here. And then just following around to my workshop, and then some peach trees here, and then kind of pan over, and behind that peach tree there you can kind of maybe make out through there is the new greenhouse I'm going to be building, and then of course my east garden here. Here standing on the east side of the property line, right behind the workshop, kind of give you a perspective of this side of the garden. I've got my compost back in the corner. I'll be closing that pile here pretty quick and starting a new one. And then next to it, of course, I've got some pots and all stored. And then I've got the new hoop house I'm going to be working on. Once I get the hoop house built here, you won't really kind of be able to see those pots and all stored back there. As I pan across this garden, kind of get a perspective of it. And then you can kind of look over to the small greenhouse and chicken coop, and then right there about in the middle is some new grapes that I'm starting. And then you can see, you know, all the way across to the other garden. And then here's the potter's bench area that we made here a month or 2 back that we're still kind of working on just a little bit. Here's the area here back behind my shop where I keep my wood stored, and my chopping stump there for splitting wood. Here's the view I have looking back towards the house. Girls are having fun there in the swimming pool, and Mama slipped some bubble bath, I think, in there to go ahead and get their bath taken for the evening. Then looking off the back patio, I'm just kind of panning this away, kind of start to see the middle garden there and the chicken coop, the small greenhouse, the girls' playhouse, of course my wife's laundry hanging on the line, and our deck. And of course the back of our house, pretty simple. Really been trying to incorporate a lot of edibles into our landscape around our deck and all. And then basically looking at the back of our place, kind from the back of our place, I guess, looking across. I've got the small greenhouse opened up now. Seeing daytime temps in the 80s and nighttime getting down about around low 60s. It really kind of helps with that heat collection in there, with having cross breeze coming 4 different directions. This will stay like this now until about fall. Well, I wish I had a lot more to show you. Like I mentioned earlier, last year, just in a week or two last year, we were canning green beans. This year, right now, I'm trying to get them to come up. But hopefully we'll have a mild enough late spring to get this stuff up and blooming and start reaping our harvest and all. I hope you enjoyed the tour. I kind of enjoyed doing it. I've had a couple of requests of people wanting me to show more of the yard than what I have, and normally I'm just kind of pinpointing on what I'm doing, but we have a lot of plans here, a lot of homesteading plans. We're slowly getting there. A lot of things we want to change for a more productive edible type garden, even around our landscape around our house. But anyways, guys, I'll let you go for now, and till the next update, we'll see you guys later. I hope you have a great day.